Okay, we are live. Parker Ray,
Oh shoot.
can you see this new studio, bro?
That quality is
Bro,
crazy.
we upped the
Nice.
fucking dose, bro. Cryptocurrency's been paying us so well. But the annoying thing is I can hear myself, but we're going to get used to that. How are you doing?
Oh shoot, there is an echo. Hold on.
He's already fucked up, Isaac. Can you believe it? You good?
One sec.
Ah.
Go ahead.
Anyways, while he's setting this stuff up, we want to talk about some stuff with cryptocurrency. A lot of people are panicking, and people don't know what to do. We're at $110,000 right now. Ethereum's at 4K. Parker, you back?
I'm back.
Okay.
Locked in.
Good. How are you doing?
Doing good. How are you? The setup is clean.
Everything's good. But we have a lot of people in our group, on our YouTube, on your YouTube, on Twitter, not knowing what to do. Okay? And we had some words about this video the other day on how people think the cycle's over, think there could be a 2026. What do you think?
It's possible it could be, but I don't think we're there yet. I think we have multiple months left in this bull run. And either way, though, we're going to play this where we can win for sure, no matter what happens next.
Okay. What do you think the peak of this cycle is going to be compared to like 2021? Because I was on a call last night, and I'm not going to mention her name, with one of our school community members. Basically, she was selling, she was buying. We've seen a lot of those guys do that before, right? She got in late on Sui, thought Sui was a scam. But I said, what about all the guys that bought at 70 cents? It's just like you've just bought at a higher price. She got in late on XRP, Solana, even Bitcoin. But she didn't understand that this market's very emotional, right? And I told her before we even start, like, you know, DeFi bills and what we do in our group, if you can't handle your emotions, it doesn't matter what we can do, because there's no way in hell that you're going to make any money if you're buying and you're selling, you're buying and you're selling. For example, I think I mentioned this other stream that we did. There's a guy called D, let's just call him. Bought H-bar, super bullish on H-bar, thought that this was the next best thing for the 5 years. You know, if we just bring up H-bar right now, if we can, Isaac, on screen, can we? Are you logged in? He's logged in. Basically, super bullish on H-bar for the long term, and started to change his mind. And then over the last, 1 week or so, he's like, oh no, I like H-bar again. So it's just people flip-flopping, right? And I told the same girl last night, like, you're in this for a week, or you're in this for 5 years, you're in this for 10 years, you know? So what do you think about that?
Exactly. And there's guys that have been in the game for a while too, that they still, you'll get those daily texts just like I do inside our group of people just way too emotional, day-to-day trading, watching the charts too closely. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't even know H-bar pumped till we talked about it like last night.
Yeah, me
Just
either. Because I don't even
check.
I don't even check.
Yeah,
Like, there's so
exactly.
many people like this girl, this guy as well from my hometown that are checking their portfolios, reminding me of 2021. When it's great, when it's not, you wake up and it's just like, just stop checking the portfolio, man. Just stop logging in the coin market cap, your Coinbase account, because that's not going to do you any. It's going to make you feel good, and then it's going to make you feel depressed the afternoon. There's no point.
Exactly.
So, yeah, for all those guys stressing out, yeah, don't be doing that. So, the other thing we want to talk about is it the bear? Is the bull still on, or is this 2026 Q1, Q2 still intact? What do you think personally? And I want to dive into people watching the chat, what they could personally think, and what should they do, right?
Yeah, personally, I think the market's job over the short term is to destroy as many people as possible, right? And so I can't share my screen right now, but just looking at liquidation zones, which is where people that are taking out a bunch of leverage, basically they can be destroyed. There's lots of liquidations down at 83K. So I think that is a very high possibility that even if it's just a wick, we do touch those points. But at the same time, there are some liquidations up to about 140K with, big clusters even up in the mid 130s. So I think there's a lot of potential to go both ways. Long term up for sure, with the dollar going down forever. But I think there is short term risk down to like the 83, 84K level. I think that's definitely a possibility and shouldn't be ignored. What do you think?
I think I've got kind of three prompts that I want to bring to you, right? I kind of wrote this down before, and I want to bring it to the guys watching this, right? But we have a guy, Bobby, one of our, I guess you could say expert traders. He's called the tops, he's called the bottoms pretty much perfectly every time. He's now 85% cash. And I think you said on the DeFi stream that you were 15% cash, but still 85.
15 to 20-ish.
Okay. And that is because you were expecting to buy back lower or try and double down?
It's because I want to be prepared either way.
Okay. Cool. But you're still 85% in.
Correct.
Okay. What I was going to say before I get into the prompt is like, what should we do? We've got 3 options, etc. If it is a bear, if it's a bull. But you remember I know you weren't in 2021 when you had that 50%, right? You had Bitcoin go from like 65 to like 30, Ethereum probably more, Dogecoin probably more, Solana, etc. Right? So what have we had?
Yeah, it wasn't part of it, but it sure watched.
We've had a 10%, 15% dip, and people think it's over. Okay? And I said that to the girl again yesterday. I was like, okay, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? It's just been the same thing. So I don't think it's over. But Parker, this is the point I want to bring to you, right? If it is the bear, what do we do? And we talked about this the other day, right? Well, there's only 3 options, okay? You hold and wait another depressing 4 years, like we had to do, or I had to do in 2021 and 2022, to finally get back in profit and realize you effed up, right? That's option 1. You just hold. You've got strong coins. They'll probably come back. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, HBAR, doesn't really matter, right? If you're in the shit, they're probably going to go to 0, right? Let's be honest. Number 2 is you could take profit if you're up already. If you bought in 23, 24, you're probably up on blue chips. It's probably not possible to not be up, like somewhere along this line. I wouldn't know how you wouldn't be. So you could do that. Or you could go to stable pools, coins for cash. What do you think?
I think stable pools for cash is such a strong opportunity, especially if you're scared of downside. I think you'd agree with me that we always want to keep the money moving. That's why we're invested to begin with. And stablecoin pools, if you are feeling like going risk off, you can still make, let's say, 8, 10, 15, I've seen even 20+% a year off of something with 0 volatility. So if you're feeling scared, that's the perfect place to park some cash, but still keep the money moving. And if you do happen to get that dip where a bear market comes, you now have all that liquidity that you can port in when Bitcoin is, let's say, 50% off.
Okay, cool. So that's if you think the bear market's in, right? You got to cover yourself, okay? What if it's not? If it's the bull, right? Now, you did say we could potentially go down. Bobby said we could potentially go down. I don't fucking know, nor do I care, because we're in pills, we're hodling this anyways. Like, it doesn't really matter to me, although I would like to make money tomorrow, but it's just about delayed gratification. So if it's not the bear, what do we do? So option number 1, well, nothing. The same game remains. We wait. Option 2 is we can look at potential exits, 20% out, etc. I don't know what your prices are. I don't know what the guys at home prices are, but everybody likes to talk about HBAR. You know, so 20 cents right now. If that's 40, 45 cents, 20% chunk, you get the point. Or asset to asset pools to generate income, right? Free coins as we go on this journey. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, addressing all 3 of those points, when it comes to number 1, you mentioned there, just doing nothing. That's something like with Bitcoin. Long term, I'm able to not look at the charts and stress every day. I'm just not getting over emotional. Also, sticking to your profit taking targets. When ETH hits 4 or 5K, like, is anyone locking in profit? Say Solana's hitting $400 to $500. Are you still selling like you promised at the beginning? So staying true to the promises you've made yourself will for sure make you money. And that's a lot of what me and you are about, is making money for sure. And then on that same note, like you said, asset to asset pools. That way, when you're just sitting there on your coins, holding them, you can still create an income off of them every day, week, month, and it just keeps coming in, and you stack coins for free for the bull run.
Yeah. So to sum up this segment of the video, I'm going to go into some questions as well. I don't know, Isaac, can we see the chat? Can we bring up chat, or how do we see that? I don't know how that works. We can't? The chat. We can't bring up the chat on the screen on my side, or we can't? Oh, we can. Okay. It's his first time. He'll learn. Anyways, the point is, you know, you have to decide what you want to do, right? I've had so many people, and you've probably had so many people in our group, right? Flip-flop, they don't know what to do, they're selling, they're buying, etc. You have to decide. There's only one option you can do. You got in cryptocurrency for a reason. Was it to, you know, catch up in real estate, make more money in the stock market, etc.? That was probably the reason you decided to do it. And you can use DeFi pools as well to get income on the side if you want to do so, get more assets, etc. if you're cash poor, crypto rich, like a lot of us. So it's either in or out. That's really all you can do. There's nothing else that really makes sense. So Parker, I know we said we'd do some questions. I'm going to ask 8, and these are all for you, and I'll spin on as well, right? You ready?
Ready, let's go.
Okay, firstly, because it's all going to be about pools and cryptocurrency, does a large income pool require a large amount of money? We get that question all the time. Pools with a bull run, a bear market, etc. Does it require a large amount of money? What do you think? It's not a dumb question, but it's just like, bro, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, you can get started at any level. The amount you make percentage-wise is usually indicative of the amount of risk you want to take. So there's guys with less than 20K making more than the guys with, let's say, 100, 200K in pools. And it's just based off their risk tolerance and how involved they want to be. So it's very personal. It's very dependent.
Yeah. So it just comes back to your portfolio. Like we've got guys that do DeFi liquidity pools, right? Grant you're working with. He has what 7 figures now in in DeFi liquidity bills. Like his best day is $9,000 per day. It's fucking crazy. But like then you get guys with like $10,000, etc., and it's just relevant. It's a percentage game, right? So what I'd recommend, and like we're not even like we don't care if you buy our shit or not. Just come on VFAT, look at your coins. Isaac, can you pull up my screen, please, brother? Come on VFAT. You know, look at what coins you have. Like we'll tell you how to do this for free. If you have Ethereum, if you have USDC, Bitcoin, whatever assets / stable coins you have. Like now is the time to accumulate more coins, right? If you think we're going in a bull market, if you think we're going to go sideways for a little bit because you get to buy more coins for free. Like, do you not think that's the best thing if you still think there's potential?
Yeah, there's just no reason not to be. You always want to keep your money moving, stacking cash on cash, assets on assets, even better.
Okay. Second question. When do you think Ethereum will hit $4,700 again? So let's have a look at Ethereum on the chart.
Whoa, okay. Chill, man.
What?
Let's see.
We're currently at 3.9. 4,900 was the previous 2021 high, I guess, or 4.8, whatever. We're at 3.9. When do you think Ethereum Parker can hit 4.7 again? And what do you think happens after that?
I think it's going to follow Bitcoin's lead. Like I said, looking at Bitcoin's liquidations, I think 83 is a possibility, just like long-term 140 we're coming up on. And I think Ethereum, if Bitcoin goes down, we'll probably be looking at retesting the 3,500 level. But once Bitcoin starts moving, we go to the upside, 4,700, if not even up to 5K. We got to break past that 5K point. Definitely in the future for Ethereum. So it's something, again, just being patient and long term. It's the market's going to follow Bitcoin's lead like usual.
What do you think its peak potential is if we do get that bull run?
Ooh, I've always said I would love to see 7, 8K Ethereum. But truly, I mean, 5,500 to 6,000, I'm taking heavy profits. I've already taken some profits on ETH at those 4,500 plus levels. So
yeah,
stay true to your rules.
Here's the way I see it, right? So Bitcoin goes first, Ethereum goes. We've seen this time and time again, usually, right? Bitcoin usually goes first, Ethereum goes first, and then your smaller cap coins, like, for example, it's interesting, BNB's kind of went against the curve this cycle a little bit. 1.1K, it just doesn't seem to stop. It's crazy. I remember this coin was $15 in 2020, 2021. It was absolutely crazy. It's 1.1K. It's like, what the fuck? XRP, we did that sideways action for so long, and then it just literally 6x or 5x for the people at 50 cents, right? Where was it? It was here, right? Usually what you expect is Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes up, and then your smaller caps, etc., and then your shit goes, right? And vice versa. Bitcoin starts to dump. That's why a lot of altcoin holders now are bleeding heavily. They're down 50, 60, 70%. But did you buy this to, stay around for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like the girl I spoke to last night? Or did you buy this for a better 25 or early 2026? I don't know. You can only answer that yourself. We can't press the buttons for you. We can't press the sell buttons for you. But what we can tell you is Bitcoin's probably going to go up forever. Ethereum's probably going to go up forever. And then the rest is your choice. You ride altcoins to catch up and buying Bitcoin. If you don't like that, you just buy Bitcoin and you take the slow journey because it's $110,000. E.g., it costs $110,000 to buy a fucking Bitcoin. It's a lot of money. But you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. You can buy 0.01. You can buy 0.02. You can get a Coinbase card and you can go and spend your little grocery shopping and stack more Bitcoin, stack more sats. And maybe eventually you might get a full Bitcoin. You might be a millionaire. I don't know. Like that. Do you not think that's like, they're like, I can't buy Bitcoin, so I have to go and buy Shiba Inu 9,000 and like they lose all their money. And then
it goes to zero and they have nothing. Story as old as time right there.
And cryptocurrency is a scam if you do that, right? Well, no, you just decided to take the lazy route and not do work in the real world, buy cryptocurrency late. And there's never a late time to buy as well. Would you agree? Everybody said in 2017, I wish I bought in 2013. I said in 21, I wish I bought in 2017. And there's going to be guys in 2025 that wish they bought in 21 or 2020. And there's going to be guys in 2029 that wish they bought in 2025. It's always the same.
Yeah. I think the problem is a lot of people that don't have, let's say, a lot of capital, they look below the top 100 list because they want to try to gamble and make as much as possible when they should be sticking towards those higher market cap coins that are going to be around for a long time. And we have some guys in our community that are actually military, and that's a perfect example. I'm like, guys, buy assets that if you got deployed for a year or two overseas and you didn't have a computer, you could come back and you're confident your portfolio would still be there. If you invest like that, you're not going to be emotional if Bitcoin's down 10% for the last whatever. Like, it's not going to worry you. You're buying stuff for the long term.
Yeah, we got so many people, like 144 right now. Parker, remember I said to you yesterday, like start looking at the chats to find good questions, and you probably haven't done that. I can see so many good questions. I can see so many interesting points, and you're not even locked in. So I'm going to keep going on these questions, and I want you to find some interesting questions, because this is the first time we've done a live stream in the studio, and we're going to be doing this every single week. But let me go back to some more questions, and then we'll talk about more about the market, what we see going forward, and then we'll come back to live chats. And if anybody's struggling or not knowing what to do, we'll come back to that. Sui info. This is your favorite coin. Parker Ray told us that he would get a Sui tattoo if Sui hit $10. Is that still in play?
If it hits $10, man, some days I am happily on the thought that it might not, so that I don't have to get a tattoo. But if I do, I made a bunch of money, so can't be too mad.
Yeah. So Sui's interesting because, again, I tie this back to the girl that was speaking last night that joined our community that had a bad experience on Sui. And almost, she basically blatantly said to us, or me, that altcoins were a scam. And I was like, okay, what do you mean? Well, she was like, you know, I bought in at this price and now it's this price. I was like, okay, so does that mean if I buy a real estate property at $1 million and then like the real estate crashes to 500K that this house was a scam? No, it's because you bought in at like FOMO times, right? You chased it, you chased everything, right? Because I know the guys that bought in at 40 cents to 70 cents back from our community back in the days, the Jessies, etc., that were making a fuck ton of money off Sui pools. They made 8, 7x plus all the fees, right? So was it a scam, or did they just get in at a good time and they weren't buying FOMO and they bought fear? Because this was a hard time to buy Sui, right? You probably know. You're one of the biggest Sui bulls that I know. Okay? Super hard time.
I mean, even just use Bitcoin as an example. I mean, is there ever, even if you bought at all-time highs in the past, is there ever a time where 4 years later you're not in profit? Even if you just bought the top and just waited without even DCAing it at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, so picking quality picks and really just, you know, DCAing it over time, not buying the absolute tops. I mean, taking some profit now and then.
Yeah, and that was pretty much our problem and a lot of people's problem. Like, they just bought in at the local highs, and now it's worth, I don't know, 50, 40% less, and like they're having a bad time. But it's like, again, did you buy cryptocurrency for the next month or next week, or did you buy cryptocurrency for the better 25, even like further down the line? Because I still believe like the Suis, the Solanas are probably going to be around. They're going to get absolutely wrecked, okay? Like short term, like that's just the game. Because like without, this is why cryptocurrency is so, in my opinion, so great, because you're paid for that volatility. If you can handle the storm, and what I did to her, and what I would argue you guys to do, is we looked at, for example, Amazon, right? You know what's funny about Amazon, Parker?
What's that?
He's not locked in. So if I look at Amazon, okay, and I don't like stocks or whatever, right? It's just not my game, right? But I asked the girl here, if you look at Amazon, all the guys that bought, for example, in 2000, I was 4 years old, okay? So I think if you buy in January 2000, the highs, okay, at $6, it crashes down to 20 cents. Let me just check how much.
Oh my God,
that is.
like 90%.
You lost 95% on Amazon. Was Amazon a scam, or was Amazon just a big business trying to transition, going from a bookstore, and Jeff Bezos was trying to figure shit out to go online? Was Amazon a scam? Because guess what happened if you bought at the worst time to buy at $6? It's now $230. And that's just
one
the
of the
same
biggest
game with
companies.
one of the biggest companies, and it's probably the same for Apple, it's probably the same for Tesla, it's probably the same for PayPal, it's probably the same for Netflix, it's probably the same for everything. Are those a scams, or did you buy it at the wrong time and you fucked yourself for the short term, but long term you will be rewarded in solid blue chips? In the shit, the memes, the AI that have no chance and no product, it's the different game. So that's what I would ask you guys, and that's what I was trying to stress to this woman last night, is did you buy this for tomorrow, or did you buy this for down the line? Because if you bought it for tomorrow, we don't know where the chart's going to go tomorrow. We're not traders, we don't know. But what we can tell you is Bitcoin's going to be higher than it is right now in a decade. Ethereum's probably going to be the same, and probably Solana, XRP, and some other coins are going to be there. And then you just have to choose everything in between, because we don't know about altcoins, etc. Like you've seen Luna, for example, was a great coin until it wasn't. There's many other coins. It was a great coin, it was, wasn't it? There's probably been like Safe Moon, that was a scam meme coin. It was a great coin until it wasn't. So that's what I would urge you guys to do at home. Is just really ask yourself, if you're in cryptocurrency for the long term, I know we all want that blow-off cycle that we are expected, but we are still early, right? It's November, nearly, tomorrow. Do you think it's going to be an extended cycle? 26th, Q1, Q2? Ah, he's not listening. Anyways, let's move.
Read your chat, man.
Okay, he's finding the chat. I'm going to read one more question. We're going to go back to chart, but that's again just to stress that point at home. If you're struggling right now, it sucks if you bought in anywhere in the last month because you're down. But just ask yourself, like, are you in this for a month or are you in this for down the line? Because there's not very much asset classes in the world if you have $10,000, $20,000 to do real damage. You can't buy a house. You can barely buy any stocks that are going to make you money unless you chase, I don't know, shit like Wolf of Wall Street. You're not going to do anything. So you have to just get in the game and you have to be okay with losing money on paper. Because again, I said to her as well, you hold the coins. If you hold 100 SUI, for example, and the price gets cut in half, you still hold 100 SUI. Okay? You still hold the coins. Just the prices went down. That's fine. And if you can't handle that, maybe cryptocurrency isn't for you because it's tough. You got any chats? Or I'm going to read the last question and we're going to go back to this.
That's a good take. It's like buying a house. Like you still own a house even if the price goes down. It only matters when you're selling it. You know, so that's a pretty good take. You're buying the assets.
Yeah, that's a good take, right?
Want me to come through your chat here? How do you make money off the DeFi liquidity pools? What do you start with? Where do you start?
That's a good question. Firstly, and again, this is like, you can do this for free. You don't need to buy our shit. We want you to do this for free, okay? Without buying our shit, it's pretty simple. You're more of a DeFi expert than me. You actually taught me, and I just decided to like, okay, this is a great product for people out there. So how do you start? Well, first of all, what I like to do is I like to look at my assets, right? So if I come on Exodraw, if I can pull this up, Isaac, you can see the value I was giving the women last night. You can see I was talking about the house, etc. Can they see that? They can see that. It's beautiful. So how do you start? Okay, well, primarily, you're in cryptocurrency. If you're not in cryptocurrency, it's a fucking dumb question, right? You have cryptocurrency. You have, what do they have? They have Bitcoin, they have Ethereum, they have all the basket of coins, right? You have a portfolio. Doesn't matter how much. It could be $10, do more work. It could be $1,000, do a little bit more work. It could be 10K, 50K, or people like Grant, right? $1 million, $3 million, whatever he has, right? So that's how you start. You look at your portfolio. What do you do next?
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, he doesn't want to answer because he doesn't know. What you do next is you come on chat. You come on platforms like VFAT as a great example. You can also go on platforms like Orica. Again, you want to find platforms with a lot of users, a lot of volatility, etc. Because if I come on, if Orica loads in this computer, I don't know if it will. Let me just check. If I go on pools right now, okay, I can look at Solana USDC, and it's very important you understand how pools work, because if you don't understand how pool works, a lot of people think this money's fake. It comes from thin air. It's like, we're not staking, we're not doing any of that stuff. It's not fake. If you think about your Coinbase, your other exchanges, your Kraken, your MEXC, whatever, there's a reason why those are one of the richest people in the world, or the richest companies in cryptocurrency, because every time you do a swap, you probably realize on Coinbase, it's like, wow, I just lost like 2% there, I just lost 3% there. Where did it go? Well, that's the service charge you fee, right? We are trying to do the same thing, but we control this, right? So what we do is, for example, you can see a Solana USDC pool, right? It doesn't really matter how much they pay. That's not the most important part, but you can see the amount of volume that have came in here in the last 24 hours. 505 million. I think in the last 24 hours, $201,000 has been paid to people in this pool. Okay. So again, just think of the Coinbase, right? You're not going to make billions and millions of dollars like them, but you can come in here to get more assets and create an income. Okay. E.g., we have in our community the 10K per month. But there, it's not fake numbers. It's all people are doing is they're buying and swapping, and you're providing that. You're parking up your little real estate property. You're putting your little assets to work. And in the meantime, in this pool, for example, you can get Solana and USDC. Okay, and if you believe, I don't want to use USDC as an example, let's say you have Solana and Render, and if you like Solana and Render, again, that's why we don't tell people what pools to start. We just look at their assets and we find their pools that they can plug in with their assets, and that's why this works so well. And what you can do is, like, if you believe in these coins and you want more coins, for example, let's say you have a pool, Solana and Render, right? You have one pool here, you decide to put it on Orica, VFAT, whatever, right? You have three options. We always tell our guys, option number one is you can stack, you can compound, right? Solana Render, your goal is to get more Solana Render for this bull run. Again, it's not about the dollar value. We don't care about the dollar value when we start these bills, because eventually, if we were buying, like, we've loved this last little bear kind of mini cycle at one month or something, right? Because guess what? We've accumulated way more coins. So when we do eventually go up, even if it's 2, 3, fucking 4 years, and the bear market is here, it would suck. But we get more assets that we believe in, and we're going to be able to sell for more dollar value. That's the caveat to that. Option number two is what you can do is this is like compound, or you can start, keeping the assets, etc. Option number two is you could scale to other pools. Okay, let's say you have a Solana Render pool going here, but maybe you want to buy XRP and Ethereum and you want to compare them on VFAT, right? Which some guys like to do. Well, you take these fees and you start a new pool. It's almost like you create a flywheel, okay? Or option number three, I don't recommend you do this, especially if you believe the bull market's here, okay? But if you want to pay off your mortgage, to buy groceries, etc., You just sell those fees for cash. Okay, you've got Ethereum or whatever you said, Solana render pool. It pays you Solana render. You sell that, go back to Coinbase again. That's so they make money as well. So you're paying them, even though you've just made fees. You pay them a little bit of fee. It goes to your bank account, GBP, USD, Canadian dollar, whatever. And you take this and pay your groceries. I would delay this because if you think the bull run's here, it's a lot better option to stack coins that you believe in for free, especially if you think they're going to go up eventually. Because if you do this, it's just like you're not going to get as much. Okay, if you can already afford your bills right now, for example, you should probably just keep doing that and just delay gratification, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think now is the time to be taking the money out of the market. If you have the ability to keep reinvesting those profits and fees into more assets, if not even just USDC, lend it out and generate more of an income off of that, waiting for a better buy-in price, there's just no reason you should be taking the money out, if possible, I would say. Jake, there's a lot of people in chat kind of saying the same thing where they're like, hey, I don't think I have enough capital to meaningfully either one, buy Bitcoin or even like our liquidity pool is worth it. Like, is it just for the whales? What would you say to that?
Well, firstly, let's drop some dollar values. That doesn't matter, right? Even if you have, and again, if somebody says they got $100 in chat, I'm going to be very pissed off. But basically, what I'm going to say to the guy that has $100, okay? And if they start commenting, like, how much do you have? You're not going to dox yourself in this chat. Like, just say how much you have in cryptocurrency. Just say, because then it's a better, like, we can actually tell you. Because it's not about much you have, right? If you're in your 20s like us, if you're in your 30s, if you're in your 40s, maybe in your 50s, 60s, 70s, it gets a little bit too late. I don't want to say that, but you know what I mean. If you're in your 20s, 30s, and you literally have $100, get a fucking job, man. Do something. But it's not about how much you have, right? It's about the percentage you can get. Because we always tell our guys, like Grant, for example, one of the big guys, he didn't start a pool and made like 2K, 3K, whatever per day because he's got $1 million in this, right? What he did was he just started small. He learned the basics. But because he put the work in the real world, he was able to come in, right? So are they commenting their numbers? There's any numbers?
Yeah, so I got two guys. Let's do two examples. One guy, 23 years old, 16 grand, and one guy, 26 years old, $50,000. Let's do a 25, or no, yeah, it's 16. So let's do a sub 20K and then a 50K.
Okay, and these were the guys that were commenting that, right?
Yeah, a couple of them.
And their main concern was they didn't think they had enough to start pools, right?
Yeah, just basically how are they going to make a profit without altcoins? Like one of the guys said, even if Bitcoin hit 150K, he'd make no profit. Basically, small capital.
But we're talking about DeFi pools putting it to work, not Bitcoin's price.
Yes, okay, correct. Us small guys are just liquidity for whales. Yeah, how can we monetize?
Again, it just depends on your goals, right? So we always tell guys if we go for like a 6 to 12% month on blue chip assets, again, just as we're making this video and live stream right now, just come on VFAT. Again, we will give you this for free because you want you to do well. Like just come on VFAT right now as an example and just start typing in assets that you have in your portfolio. Okay, so I don't know if they commented what they have. It doesn't really matter, but if they did, it'd be even better because we can actually fact check this. Let's just say you have some AVAX, right? Doesn't matter about them. Let's just run this. So I know you've been running a Bitcoin AVAX pool a little bit, I believe. It's 12% wide. We don't really need to talk about the width as well because this is getting a little bit too complicated just to answer the question. But like, even if you just pump this out a little bit, okay, if you're getting 8, 10, 12% per month, whatever, on this example, blue chip, Bitcoin and AVAX, we'd all agree that Bitcoin's going to do well. If you have AVAX, it'd be a good idea to pair this against this, right? I mean, I think you literally have one of these pools. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, if you're aiming for 10% per month, again, we don't recommend you to put your full portfolio, but I'm just going to presume you do, right? Just to make this super easy maths, because I don't know how much you want to put in. You'd make 1.6K. It's just fucking maths. And for the guys that have 160K, you know, they'd make, believe it or not, 16K per month. So it's just
kind of crazy when you think about it. At a 16 grand net worth, 1.6K is like, that's a lot of money for you. Keep compounding.
But it gets better. You know why it gets better? Because again, if you come back to what we drew here and you decide to play this game, delaying gratification, so many people are texting me saying they can watch me on live on WhatsApp. Fuck them. Basically, you have more Bitcoin AVAX for the bull run. So even if Bitcoin is at 110K right now and it goes up to 140, 150, it's like the 1.6 is like you made a little bit more. The AVAX, for example, I know it's a little bit more risky, but I think it's still going to do well this bull run. Let's be honest, it did well in 2021, and it's probably going to do well in this bull run. Like it's a 4 or 5x for whatever in the previous run. And let's just say it got to $100 this bull run. Again, this video is not about price predictions. Like, that's not what it's about. Let's just say 8x, 5x. Well, if you're in at $800, half of that 1.6, and at 5x's, like, it's almost like you're getting all that more appreciation because you kept the coins. And even then, if you compounded it, it's almost like that you can be making 3K, 4K per month. Like, in, depends where this coin goes. A full-time job. Like we said, the average income.
You were making $1,500 a month, but once at 5x's, were you really making $1,500, or were you making exactly?
Yeah, and that's why we always say, if you can ignore this, sure, take the 1.6K and like pay everything you need. But if you just delay gratification and you're surviving right now, just keep stacking. Okay, and then you can maybe scale to other pools. You can maybe look at some more riskier ones. Like we've got Kyle in our group doing a Zoro pool right now, and it's fucking printing as far as I'm aware, right? You could do that. It's risky, but like, again, we come back here and we always start with our main blue chips. What do you have right now and what can we monetize it? Okay, if it's 20% of the bag, you get your feet wet. Even if it's $100 pool, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you can start the game with and look at your percent and then you go from there. Okay, because if you can make $1 a day, you can make $10 a day, you can make $100 a day. You just have to get up the portfolio value. And again, I think both the guys are in the 20s, right? So like, you have time to really fuck this up and still be fine. The 50K, again, it's the same thing. You have a more portfolio. You make 5K per month. If you're getting 10%, if you want to play a little bit more safe and like go really wide ranges, you might make, 5%, 6%. You make 2.5K per month. It's not fucking difficult. I think a lot of people just struggle because I remember when you taught me how to do this, right? I used to have another group and we used to just kind of like, I don't even know, my group was very low, as in like I had a big YouTube audience. Didn't know what to do with it, so I was just like, yeah, if you guys fuck with me, join. But like when you joined, like you were one of the guys that bought for me. When you introduced this product to us, like I remember, and I'll tell this story till the day I die. He joins our group, and nobody's interested what he's talking about because to me it just sounded so confusing. You were saying, oh, I'm monetizing, I'm using DeFi pools, I'm using yield farming. I didn't even know what that was. I knew what like kind of staking was. I knew what Celsius was when I got completely effed, when I let them control my money and not us control the money and monetizing this ourselves. He started talking about this and I had no idea what he was talking about it. But I think in January, February, can't remember what year it was, maybe 24, maybe 25, really can't remember. You said something like you made like, I don't know, 3, 5, I don't even know how much it was per month.
This is my first 10K month.
10K month. And when he said that on one of our, you always used to be at the gym. You were always on the treadmill working out.
I was on the treadmill, bro. I was gassed.
Yeah. And he looks the exact same. He's made no muscle and he's lost no weight since the gym. Okay, so in 1 year's time, he's done nothing. But he said he made like 6, 7, 8, 10K, whatever he said he was. And I remember Joe, Bobby, and all these other guys in our group, because everybody had their little live cameras on. I remember their ears started to perk up. They were like, wait, what? How? And then me, you, and Joe jumped on the call after that, if you remember correctly, and we just spoke about it. Right? And that's how we got onto this. So it's, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
That's forever ago, man. Jeez.
Yeah. And you were probably the same. Whoever you learned it off, don't mention their names.
And I was probably, just to put that in reference, I was like 24 at that time, as I'm 26 now. So I'm literally right there where you guys in chat are talking about like, should I do this? Like, and it's changed my life tremendously as well. It's definitely, I mean, you just got to get started, man. Get started. Play around. $100, $1,000.
Exactly. So to just sum up this segment of this video, look at your portfolio for the 20, whatever your age is. You got 16K, you got 15K or 50K. Take literally $100 right now, and everybody else can do this. We don't make any money when we say this, right? We do not make any money. We don't own VFAT. We make no affiliation. We're just trying to help you guys get more coins in times like this when the market's tough, when the market's difficult, because you'll be so fucking grateful of what you learned today, because you realize like how crypto, you don't have to be a hodler all your life. Hodling is great, but it's like it's like, again, we always say this, you can buy a house, okay? You buy a real estate property, okay? You don't just wait for the price to go up because you're just stuck in a dead asset, right? You'll make money, but it's like you put a fucking tenant in there, don't you? Because you want that income. The only problem with property right now is like 100K, 200K. It gets you no monthly income. It gets you a lot of headaches from my personal experience. And you need 100, 200K. So these guys right here, yes, you can do a mortgage, etc., but you're not going to get fucking approved with 16K. I promise you that, young man. There's no chance. Maybe with your mom. But the point is, you can come in this game with 16K and 50K, press 2 buttons, look at your assets you already have, and you're in the game.
Cash flow your mortgage.
With this shit, you have to find a property. You have to find a tenant. You have to probably want a property manager that takes 10% of this, which, by the way, are no effing help, because they literally still phone you up and say, hey, the toilet's broken. We need $400 to fix that. right? So many stories of that. And then you have to wait 2-3 months, like get them all signed in, make sure they don't smoke, make sure they don't wreck the price, like so much fucking headaches. And then maybe 2 months they leave. So a lot more money in this game to make a lot less and a lot more stress, in my opinion. You already have cryptocurrency anyways. You can come on here, find the coins you like, and just if you have $100, open up a pool of 50-50. If that's Bitcoin AVIX, if you have Bitcoin AVIX right now, this would be a good pool. And just do it. Just do it. And I guarantee...
Super common theme in the chats here, Jake. What are the realistic dangers? What's the downside? What's the risk?
Okay. I'll give one risk, you give one risk, and we'll go until who loses, right? Little game. So for my first risk, let's see who's better. You're probably better. So the first risk for me is a lot of people, I can give you 2 off the bat, right? Again, we only start with the portfolios you have. I just want to focus on this Bitcoin AVIX pool because it's really easy to make an example, right? So if you have Bitcoin AVIX in your portfolio, right? The risk would be, it's not even a risk, right? Because you have Bitcoin AVAX already. If AVAX went to 0, that would be a risk, but you already have AVAX in your portfolio anyway, so it wouldn't effing matter. So what a lot of people do is they look at Bitcoin AVAX and then they go and buy a meme coin, 6,000 whatever, because they can get more APY and they can be a millionaire in 1 month, right? Yeah, great. But when that coin goes to 0, which ultimately they probably do most of the time, the risk is you sold your blue chip assets to try and chase yield and make more money per month, and you completely lost your mind. So there's not a risk there, but a lot of people see Bitcoin AVAX and they go, 77% per year is not enough. Okay, so go and get coin 9,000 and make 6,000%, but watch that coin go to 0 because we've seen it happen so many times. So that's my number one risk. What's yours?
Yeah, like you said, asset selection. And then outside of that, maybe the protocols you use. If you're trying to navigate around the internet and find these random sites that have not been tried and true, and they're sketchy, and you connect and sign your wallet on something that's not been vetted, I mean, yeah, you might lose your funds if you're out there being an idiot, you know? If you're using tried and true websites like Uniswap, big brand name in the space, everyone should know. Aave, big brand name in the space, everyone should know. You're using these places that have been around for like two cycles now, if not 3. You're going to be safe. And there's not too much risk outside of the assets you're actually choosing. Most of the problems you might encounter is just you being an idiot doing some dumb stuff.
Yeah, like literally so many people are WhatsApping me right now. Somebody said, your YouTube chat is class. I wish I was drunk. But he actually just sent me a screenshot. So I want to come back to this. But I just seen, he sent me a screenshot with some guy, PJBL93. He said, this cycle is mental trauma. Okay. It is tough. I didn't
see that.
It is tough. Well, there's so, I mean, I don't know. I'm not even looking. I can't even see the chat. Isaac, we need to get that for next time. But so this cycle is mental trauma. Is this cycle be difficult for you? As in,
no, man. If anything, it's gotten easy. And we were joking about this in the community today. It's that especially with DeFi, it ends up being so boring. I'm just cash flowing all this money every month, and I'm not having to look. Like I look once every 2 weeks, or I look on our group calls and stuff. Like I'll actually see my portfolio and some of it. But really until the end of the month, when I do a bunch of logging and changing, that's when I notice things. And I mean, it's pretty boring. And if you get over-involved, that's when you make mistakes. It's just been consistent. I'm in a lot of large caps and layer ones and stuff. So I'm not really concerned with the long-term of my holdings. And I think I've made some videos on this before too, just building a zero anxiety portfolio, having a portfolio that you can go to sleep at night and it's not keeping you up all night. Have a portfolio that if you got deployed to go fight in a war, you can come back in a year and your money's still going to be there. Finding something that's not, you shouldn't be buying trash.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's talk about that because I know there's a lot of people that this is their first cycle, right? And I remember my first cycle, and it was kind of euphoria. I know you got in a little bit, I don't want to say late, but you got in after me, I think, in 21, right? So my first cycle was great until it wasn't, right? And I remember every single part of it. Like if we go back 2020, I remember my girlfriend at the time, and we were like, I was saying to her, should I just buy during the COVID dip? I think Alex Becker and all these big guys were posting about it, but I was just too much of a pussy to do it, right? Because I just seen it drop. I didn't understand it. Like, you want to buy fear, but to buy this, let's be honest, in COVID time, I know this is on the weekly, and this was like such a sharp candle. We went from pretty much 8K, 9K to like $3,000, and it immediately bought it back up. But I didn't understand like you buy fear and sell green, but I also didn't understand that cryptocurrency was going to be my game of choice, right? It was just a new asset. I was making a lot of money from e-commerce, but I wanted to put my money to work because I understood that like cash in the bank is it's literally going to die to inflation, okay? Unless you're able to make so much money per month consistently, Like, you're never going to win this way, okay? You can go under the real estate game, etc., etc., to make a lot of money, but most people cannot do that. Most people, you would probably agree, maybe make 3K, 4K, 5K dollars, GBP, whatever per month if you're doing well. But what I can also say is most people spend 4K, 5K, 6K per month, and they actually make no money. Like, most people have an emergency fund of like 1K or less, or 5K. I don't know. Like, is that true? 1K, 2K.
Yeah.
Like, they can't afford a medical bill, for example. Yeah. So like, what are you going to do with $1,000? Okay. What are you going to do? So like, you have two options. You cut expenses, you make more money. It's difficult to obviously say to your boss, hey, can I get more money? Right? But you have to cut expenses. You have to do something, or you're just going to be left behind because everything's going to get so much more expensive. But yeah, going back to this question here, it's not really a question. This cycle is trauma. 2020 is when I really got in, give or take 17, 19, whatever K Bitcoin. It didn't really matter. I lost it all anyway, so it was totally irrelevant, but I learned a lot of lessons. Ethereum, $400, $500, $600. I bought some HBAR, I bought some Celsius coin, which went to zero. I bought some Solana, probably bought some XRP, I bought some Gala Games. It doesn't really matter what I bought. Everything went up, and it was great until it wasn't. I remember the euphoria here. There wasn't really much red. There was a couple of red weeks, but like, I remember checking my Trust wallet at the time because that's what I was using. And every single day, it was crazy. You probably remember your first time, and you probably remember your first time at home. You check your wallet every single day, and if it woke up on a 10% candle and you made $10,000 or $1,000, depending on what you have to your portfolio, you felt amazing. You walked to work with different swagger and almost like, okay, if this boss fires me, I don't care because look how much money I'm making in cryptocurrency. But the caveat is true that if you lost $10,000 or $1,000 or $100 in a day, you woke up feeling distressed and you didn't want to do anything, and you were so scared of your boss quitting you. So this first cycle that you get in is very, very emotional. Okay, especially, this is on Bitcoin's chart. Imagine you're on an altcoin. Imagine you're on Dogecoin. Imagine you're on any other coin outside the top 50. Okay, and you got in gaming coins when they were going up, and then they would go down. Sandbox, Lumium back in the days, Axie Infinity. Those were great coins. You made a lot of money, but you had to handle a lot of volatility around the way. So, and then you had this 50% dip. And this is probably what this guy means with the dip that we're having right now, even though it's only 10%. This was tough, okay? Me, Dean, and another one of my friends in the UK, we literally lost 50, 60%, like in 3-4 weeks, whatever this was. And there was only three options. Number one, we do nothing, which is what we did, and we got the reversal. But we didn't know about the peak cycles, etc. We were just going to hold until forever. It didn't really matter. So I'm glad we had this crash because I got to learn the game, because I'd still be holding right now. Or there was option number two, is you sold and you gave up. But, you know, I was still up on this. Like, I was still up massively, but I was like, going to sell back to what? Because I didn't know about DeFi pools, I didn't know about anything like that. So I was just playing a hodl game. So I was going to sell back to cash and then do what? I was just going to stay in my bank on rot. So I wanted to be in the game. Or you could buy more, but I was crypto rich and cash poor here. So there was only really one option for me as I held. And then I held it all the way back down. And every cycle is the same. Every cycle is the same. So this cycle is less volatile in terms of Bitcoin and Ethereum because the market caps are bigger. As the cryptocurrency grows and Bitcoin gets to 150, 200, 1 million down the line, which it probably will because it's probably one of the best assets. It's limited supply. People lose their Bitcoin all the time. It's a great store of value. You can jump on a plane with $1 million of Bitcoin in your little treasure wallet and you're chill. You can't do that with gold. Your pockets are going to be full. You can't. You're getting the game. So you're going to make less money over time and it's going to be less volatile. Okay. But you're not going to get as much returns. So when people were saying, oh, Bitcoin's too expensive at $110,000, again, you don't have to buy one Bitcoin. You look at the returns. There's still great returns on Bitcoin, but I get it for the guys at 10K, 5K, 1K portfolio. It doesn't make sense to buy Bitcoin, and that's why a lot of us play altcoins. But just when you look at altcoins and understand, we go back to Sui, you're going to have a very up and down. Like, it's going up. Okay, if you look here, it is going up on the longer term.
I'm curious what my DCA portfolio is for 25. About to pull that up too.
Yeah. So if you look in long term, it's great, but like you've had to stomach a lot of volatility. Okay. So that is a risk that you take. You either make a lot of money in the real world and buy Bitcoin forever, or you ride up altcoins to cash and buy more Bitcoin. What's your average, did you say?
On the Bitcoin for 25, it is up about 8% total return for the year. Sometimes it's over 20% for the year. Sometimes it's down like it is now, but that's on every week it just buys $100. I've never even looked at it. So that's not even going big on dips or taking any profit off the top. That's literally just not even looking.
Okay. What's your goal for this bull run?
Price-wise or exit-wise? I mean, what exactly do you mean?
How much money do you want to leave the game with?
Touching a mill would be great. We're getting closer than I ever thought possible. But also, I'm not trying to squeeze every last dime. When alts start flying, when things look toppy, I'm just gonna cut it. Like if I leave with just like, let's say 800, 850, it's like, oh no. Oh no, I'm not gonna miss that other 150K as much as I'll regret riding 800 back down to 3 again.
We've got 200 people in the chat. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so you leave with 750, and I would ask you guys at home, right? So you leave, I don't know what you said there. I wasn't locked in, but you leave with 750K, for example. Bro, there's so many people text me. You leave with 700K. Like, this is the most unprofessional podcast. Like, you're not going to get top tier content. You're going to get real guys talking about what they're doing on their journey and how to make money and how they're navigating stuff, and they're going to talk about their losses. That's what you're going to get. That's what you can promise. But you're not going to get lock-in periods. So your goal is 750, okay? You said?
Yeah.
You leave with 750, then what? Because a lot of people, they want these numbers, okay? And you hit that number. Ideally, you take profits out before. You leave with 750. Now what?
Let's say I only leave with 750. I mean, there's stablecoin strategies to easily make, let's say, 10%. If I'm making 10% a year just off 750 while I'm holding my stables, waiting for that bear market, like hope to God we get a bear market so I can rebuy, making 10% a year off that, that's 75 grand just coming in off stablecoins. It's like, it just buys me more freedom to do whatever. I always want to keep the money moving. So even if I'm out of my assets that I love, like out of Bitcoin, I'm still keeping the money moving, the velocity of money, just always printing. And that is my goal, is to just never stop.
Yeah, and I would ask everybody at home to have a goal, because everybody has a goal in terms of dollar value. And that's why I got wrecked in 21. But like, even if I had that goal, I would have took it out to cash and then I didn't know what to do, right? So I would really urge you guys, whatever your numbers are and you still believe in this bull cycle, even if you don't believe in this bull cycle, but let's just say you do, once you hit that number, and again, scale out beyond that, because you just want to cover your downside risk, because I promise you, if you're still going for price predictions on coins, you will lose. You will 100% lose most of the time. You'll get so close and then you'll just ride all the way back down. You'll wait for a reversal. It'll never come, and you'll just go lower, 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 and you'll absolutely lose, right? So what I would ask you guys at home to do, whatever that number is, think about what you want to do. Think about your goals. We always tell our guys in our group, hey, how much do you want to make per month? What's your goals actually if you just decide to hodl for this bull market, right? So if the goal is 500K, 100K, even $10,000 for the smaller guys, that's fine. But what do you want to do after? Because if you make 500K, for example, and you work a normal job and you make 50K per year, which is great, 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 great. You cash that out, you buy a little 250K house, you buy a 250K Lamborghini. You're back in the same fucking thing with a bigger house, a bigger box, and an expensive car. So now you have to keep working. So I think most people's goals are probably number one is freedom, right? That's why you want to come to Thailand, right? What would you rather have, freedom or a Lamborghini?
Freedom, 100%. Freedom.
But a lot of people think the Lamborghini is going to make them happy, and it's not. It will for 1 month, and then what? This thing is, and if you don't have the income, you're going to be pulling up to your 9-to-5 job with a Lamborghini. You're just going to look like a cool guy, but you're still going to be working. Your boss is going to be behind you, and you're going to fucking hate your life. So we always say, set yourself up first. How much? It's true. How much do you need to live off, or how much do you need to comfortably set yourself up? And you might not make it this cycle, and that's not the point, okay? Because we always want to go higher. If you're about this game like us, there's no number. It's just a game, okay? You want to set up your family, you want to set up your girlfriend, you want to set up your brother, your sister, your grand, whatever. You want to be able to cover a dog. If your dog died, like I think my dog, his name was Bruno, right? He had like a $7,000 spine fucking, and I couldn't pay for it. So I had to come over to my gran and mum and like, my dog is going to fucking die. I don't have $7,000. Can you help me? You want to be able to be the guy that just covers all that. And a Lamborghini is not going to be able to cover all that if you go fucking broke. You want to be able to provide cover for everything, and then you have ultimate freedom. You don't have any stress. And if you can quit the job and do something on the side, start your own business, like trade, do DeFi pools, whatever suits your boat, that's way better than having a Lamborghini in a bigger box. It's not going to make 100%. You happy. It's not going to make you happy. So I would really urge you guys to set your goals, find out what you actually want to do, travel, explore, see the world, and then go from there.
And actually write it down. Make a dream board. Put something that's physically there that reminds you every day. Because even something as simple as, for example, I always said I was going to sell a chunk of ETH at 4K. When 4K first happened, I didn't do shit. I wasn't selling. I got too greedy, man. I got too greedy. Washed up to 4,700. Still wasn't selling yet. So everyone, it gets really easy to just become greedy and not sell, not sell, not sell. So make sure that stuff is in front of you that really convinces you, okay, I need to take profits so I can actually do this. This was the dream. Let's actually take these profits and live that dream that we had. Take care of the people we love.
People's like, get pet insurance, mate. 200K, 100K. Yeah. Like, again, do freedom, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's freedom. Freedom's the best. Freedom will make you so much more happier than working at your job and a Lamborghini and a bigger box. That is not going to make you happy. Okay? So set your goal up, set the number you need up. And again, you're going to want to go beyond that because there's going to be another cycle. You're going to get more experience. You're going to just learn the game more. You're going to do new stuff, especially if you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. There's so much time that you have. Okay, we said I think we'd run these calls for like 1 hour, so we're going to do 10, 15 minutes left. Okay, I'm going to finish the questions here. We're going to give some more value in crypto, and Parker, you're going to find some questions, and this will be the first successful live stream in our new studio. Okay, so hopefully you guys are enjoying. Before, let's just answer the rest of these questions. You find some, and then anything else, we'll do a little 5-minute spin-off. How are you off-ramping to fiat? How are you off-ramping to fiat?
So, I mean, a couple different options. I mean, I think being verified on multiple exchanges is a good thing. So you can have your Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, like just have multiple spots, crypto.com, with different bank accounts you can cash out to. But also at the same time, I have a lot of methods like I have the Coinbase Amex card, I have the Gemini credit card, stuff that I can swipe day to day, and then I can just pay that off with stablecoins. So I don't necessarily need to go back to fiat directly, but I still have the capability to spend the crypto in the real world as fiat.
Yeah. So again, your goals. How do you off-ramp to fiat? Well, it just depends what you're trying to do. If you bought, I mean, the easiest way is where did you buy it? You know, Kraken, for example, Kraken Pro in the UK is a very good exchange. Like I've all folded like $50,000-$60,000 in one clip, and it's came within 30-40 minutes. You can't do that. Coinbase, what I've heard is like they're kind of like, I don't know, they just give you some issues. If you're brand new and you maybe have even if you have a lot of money, I remember Binance for me in 2021, they actually banned me and blocked me. They want to see proof of income, they want to see this and this, which is fine. They're entitled to do that. And I got my money out, but like, just be careful. If you've took a portfolio from like 10K, 20K and you get into the 6 figures and then you take that back to Coinbase or Binance and like some of these big exchanges, they might actually ask you for some verification if you're trying to withdraw a large amount because money laundering, tax, etc. So you have to be careful because you might not get the sell price that you obviously sell to stable coins, you'll be fine. But if you're waiting there to sell in Bitcoin, etc., they might ask you that question and you might have to sell for lower than what it's worth. So just be careful, set up multiple exchanges, get everything verified, etc. But you need an exchange. If you want to go actually back to cash and don't go in like stablecoin pools like a lot of us are going to do, if you want to go actually back to cash, which is fine to do so, like treat yourself, get that money out, you deserve it. Just be very careful. If you took a small amount of money to over 6 figures, you're not going to be able to get out the full amount of money. I think even Kraken Pro, they're one of the largest, at least for me. Like if you over 6 figures, you can't take that on one clip, which is fair enough. Like 100 grand in one day is crazy, right? But if you ride up a 500 to 600K portfolio and you got lucky off some coins, you're going to have to wait 6, 7, 8 days. So there's multiple things you can do. Like he said, different exchanges, even get your mom and dad, your brother and your sister, get all them set up, pay them like $1,000, okay? Because like then you have 5 different things all to one account. And also keep in mind, if you're taking this out to cash and you live in your country, you might have the knock at the door, right? IRS, where'd you get this money for? So also keep that in mind.
FBI, open up.
I know a lot of people in the UK, it's almost like a meme in our group, nobody's afraid of taxes, right? But I'm just saying, in the UK, like they're getting very, very strict. They want to know exactly how much you made. And you really can't hide it, okay? And I'm not telling you what to do with your money, etc. You should pay your taxes. But if you're bringing this out to your bank account, especially in the UK now, they're going to ask where it came from, okay? So you need to be able to understand that and just play that game. There's other ways that people are doing where like they try and mix it in Monero, etc. But again, if you want to spend the money in the real world, yes, you can buy stuff with Bitcoin, Ethereum. You can technically do that. Some stuff, not everything. You're not going to be able to spend that for basic stuff. Ideally, just be careful with the tax, man, especially in your country, because I heard it's pretty crazy. For $1, they'll knock at your door, right? He's not locked in.
No, that wasn't really a question. I'm reading a couple of these. Coinbase always sent my money, no problems if I'm KYC'd. How about lending against your Bitcoin versus selling your Bitcoin?
That's one for you because you literally do that all the time.
So the second half of that comment I left out because it was talking about through Coinbase, lending it directly through there. DeFi using sites like Aave where you maintain full control of your assets. And again, it's that whole like, I don't really ever want anyone to be able to tell me I can or can't send the money, take the loan, pay back the loan. I don't want, for example, Joe in our group, Jake, he sent me a picture earlier that his Coinbase said, oop, down, like, sorry, not available. So I just never want that to be a thing. So for me, I'm big on lending, borrowing against your Bitcoin, super big fan of that. But I would do it through decentralized finance, sites like Aave, Moonwell, lots of them. Depends on the blockchain that you're on. Big fan of even using something as simple as Coinbase wrap Bitcoin as the collateral, but doing that over on Aave on base chain. And that's a lot of what we teach in the inside of the group too.
Okay, good. We've got 5 minutes left. 5 minutes is we're going to be said 7:30 to 8:30 every Thursday. If anybody has any major questions while Parker's bringing them up, pull them up. This is your last time for this one. We'll get you next week. And again, we're going to do this every single week as a challenge, because we want to be around when the market's tough. We don't want to be around when, like, a lot of people and a lot of YouTubers, you'll probably notice this, are there when the market's hot. I remember in 2021, so many YouTubers were starting up, and they should, by the way, share your journey in cryptocurrency. That's how I got started. I started to make money in ecom, and then I started to make money on paper on crypto, but nobody in the real world, like, I told my mom, this is so interesting. You probably remember the same. Everybody gets so excited when they first buy cryptocurrency, even though they have to learn so much shit. It's going to be so tough. But that's why I got started on YouTube, right? Nobody was interested in the real world. My mom, my dad, they didn't care. Scam, 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 they didn't care. But now they're interested. It's funny that, right? Because the price is way higher, but now they're interested. Now, like, Michael Saylor's interested before, like Elon Musk, like all these big famous guys, and it's just going to keep happening down the line. Every company, every major company, 90, they're going to want Bitcoin on their asset class, right? So this is why I believe, and you probably are the same, and you probably are the same home. Like, people, Bitcoin is probably going to go up forever, and it's tough to buy one. But again, we always say to people, everybody always asks, I can't afford one Bitcoin. Again, it's not about today. It's about what you can do over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And that's why we love altcoins. You're spoiled with opportunities for altcoins. Again, a lot of people always use that as they can buy anything and think it's going to go up. And it can happen. But again, safe portfolio, use DeFi tools if you have. If you're a trader, like, do what you need to do. But the goal should always be to stack more of Bitcoin, in my opinion. If you can do that, you're winning. If you're constantly losing Bitcoin to sell to try and catch up, you're going to lose. Okay? That should be your number one goal. 4 minutes. Questions. Go.
Me? Let's see. A lot of time zone questions. Like, what do you mean? You live in the future? Let's see.
Yeah, there's so many stuff about boat accidents in the UK. Much. Yeah, there's UK guys. I get it. There's just UK guys don't fear the tax man. But I promise you, if you've never had 6 figures in your life and you catch a pump, and some of you guys will be able to go from, like, pretty much not nothing but a small amount to, like, 6 figures, and you're going to be like, fuck, this is crazy. When you cash that out 6 figures to your Bank of Scotland, your Lloyds, TBS, like whatever, Santander, I promise you, bro, it's going to come. And you don't want to spend it all and then, like, have, like, nothing left to pay the tax. It's going to come. Keep the money in USDT and maybe play that game if you want. But if you want the money out to your bank account, I'm stressing, man. They're getting so strict. They're getting so strict. It's crazy. So just be careful for the UK guys. And I used to be the same. How they can touch me. They'll come, bro. I'm telling you, man.
They're tracking much more aggressively now, too. Even working with Grant. If Grant wants to send money to himself, they still, like, throttle him and ask, hey, where's this going? What kind of wallet is it? Why are you sending it? It's like 20 questions to get your own money.
Okay, totally right, Jake. They don't, about the small stuff, you got above 10K. Yeah, they're on you like flies. What are we saying? When? Bull run when? Bull run when? Well, this is the last question. We've got 2 minutes left, okay? And if you want to say anything, Parker, after this, it's been a great stream. Bull run when? I hear that question so many times. Okay, well, Bitcoins went from lows of $16,000 to 125, 126, whatever, right?
Show the chart, bro.
Bull run when? Look at the chart. I can pull up so many, and again, I don't think it's over. So again, I understand if you're buying right now, if you look back and you just feel disgusted. Because if I was buying cryptocurrency today, I would look back and say, fuck, I've completely missed the chance. No, you've not missed your chance. I mean, that's just the same thing. Again, we always talk about this. The guys in 2017 wish they bought in 13. And the guys in 2017 were so lucky, right? 21, you're so lucky if you look at right now. And again, I promise you, even now, if you look in the future and prepare to hold this storm, you're so lucky for getting in 2025. So again, it's a relevant question, PJ63, and we want you to, I think it was him that asked it, doesn't really matter, we want you to do well, but bull run when? Look at 22 and 23 and then look at your altcoins. Some of these coins are up astronomical amounts of value. You just have to understand, again, I always tie this back to this if you bought in recently the last month, it's tough. But again, are you here for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, or are you here for the next 1 month? Okay? Anything else? We're going to sign this off in 30 seconds.
That's it, man.
That's it. It's been a great chat. Isaac, thank you for being here. Parker, thank you for being here. We will be here every single Thursday at 7:30 a.m. What time is it for you?
It is 8:30 p.m., so 7:30 p.m. is when it starts for me.
Yeah, and UK guys, sorry you're fucked because it's like 1 a.m. in the morning right now. So good chat. Goodbye. Thank you. Peace.